She inherited her grandmother's lake house in the forest, but no one expected what was hidden inside. Rain hammered the windshield as Lena drove deeper into the forest. The GPS lost signal 20 minutes ago. Perfect. Because apparently her grandmother's lake house existed in a place forgotten by both people and technology. Great, Lena muttered. Exactly how every horror movie starts. The dirt road twisted between massive pine trees until the house finally appeared beside the black lake. Old, silent, watching. The wooden cabin stood crooked under the storm clouds, its windows dark like empty eyes. The lake behind it barely moved. Lena stepped out of the car and instantly regretted wearing white sneakers. Mud swallowed her foot. Fantastic. She yanked it free and grabbed the envelope from the passenger seat. The inheritance papers still felt unreal. Her grandmother, Eleanor Vale, had died 2 weeks ago at 83.
And despite barely speaking for years, she left everything to Lena. Not her church friends, not distant cousins, just her. The front porch creaked under every step. Lena unlocked the door. The smell hit instantly. Dust, old books, cedar wood, and something else, like smoke after a fire. The lights flickered when she entered. "Please don't die on me, too," she whispered to the bulbs. The living room looked frozen in time. Old floral furniture, a stone fireplace, a grandfather clock ticking louder than it should. Tick, tick, tick. Lena swallowed hard. Her grandmother used to bring her here during summers when she was little. Back then, the place felt magical. Now it felt like the forest was holding its breath. She walked toward the kitchen. Everything was spotless. Too spotless. A bowl sat on the table with fresh-looking apples. Lena stopped. Nope.
There was no way those apples should still look fresh. A sudden thump upstairs made her jump so hard she nearly dropped her keys. Silence followed. Her heart pounded. Probably a raccoon, she lied to herself. Then another sound. Slow footsteps. Directly above her. Lena grabbed the fireplace poker like it would magically turn her into an action hero. Hello? Nothing. The footsteps stopped. She climbed the stairs carefully, every creak making her flinch. The hallway upstairs stretched into darkness. 3 doors. One slightly open. Cold air drifted from inside. Lena pushed the door wider. It was her grandmother's bedroom. Everything remained untouched. Even Eleanor's glasses still rested on the nightstand beside an open book. Lena's chest tightened unexpectedly. For a second, she could almost hear her grandmother laughing downstairs while baking cinnamon bread. The memory hit hard.
Because the truth was ugly. Lena stopped visiting after her mother died. And Eleanor never forgave her for leaving. A quiet crack interrupted her thoughts. She looked toward the closet. The door slowly moved open by itself. Lena froze. A black cat walked out lazily and stared at her. Then it meowed. Lena nearly cried from relief. "Oh my God, you little demon." The cat jumped onto the bed like it owned the place. Its collar tag read, Mabel. "Well, Mabel, you almost sent me into cardiac arrest." Mabel blinked slowly, judgmentally. Lena laughed for the first time all day. Then she noticed something strange. Scratches on the wooden floor near the closet. deep ones, like something heavy had been dragged repeatedly. She crouched down. The scratches led directly to the wall behind the wardrobe. What were you hiding, Grandma?
The cat suddenly hissed. Its fur stood up. Lena turned. The grandfather clock downstairs stopped ticking. Dead silence filled the house. Then, a loud metallic clang echoed from below. Lena rushed downstairs, gripping the poker again. The kitchen looked unchanged, but the basement door near the pantry was now open. She was certain it had been closed before. Cold air poured upward from the darkness below, and hanging from the doorknob was a tiny silver key with a note attached in her grandmother's handwriting. For Lena, don't let them find room 9. Tell me, where are you watching from? I'm curious to know. Lena stared at the note as thunder exploded outside. Then, something moved in the basement darkness. Something definitely human. And a voice whispered from below. She finally came back. Lena's entire body locked. The whisper came from deep below the basement stairs. She finally came back. The voice sounded weak, old, almost excited. Mabel bolted behind the couch, fur puffed like a tiny, angry cloud. Okay, Lena whispered nervously. Absolutely not. Every survival instinct screamed to leave the house immediately. But her grandmother's note burned in her hand. Don't let them find room 9. Who were they? And what exactly was room 9? Another metallic noise echoed below. Then silence. Lena tightened her grip on the fireplace poker and slowly stepped toward the basement stairs. Each wooden step groaned under her weight. The smell changed halfway down. Wet earth, rust, mold. The basement was enormous, far bigger than the cabin above should allow. Shelves lined the walls, packed with dusty jars and old tools. A single hanging bulb swung gently overhead. But no person. No movement. Lena exhaled shakily. Cool. So now I'm hearing ghost voices. Then the bulb stopped swinging, as if something had just brushed past it. A sudden click came from behind her. The basement door upstairs slammed shut. Lena jumped. Oh, come on! She ran back to the stairs and shoved the door. Locked. Seriously? Mabel meowed loudly from upstairs, like she was laughing at her. Lena groaned and turned back toward the basement. That's when she noticed the hallway. She swore it wasn't there before. A narrow concrete corridor stretched deeper underground. At the end sat a metal door painted with a giant white number. 9. Her stomach dropped. Nope, 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 nope. But she walked toward it anyway, because humans are apparently born without survival instincts. The closer she got, the colder the air became. A chain wrapped around the handle, broken recently. Lena touched the door carefully. It creaked open. Inside was not a room. It was an underground study. Books covered every wall. Old maps, newspaper clippings, strange symbols drawn across chalkboards. And photographs. Hundreds of them. All pinned to the walls. Every single photo showed the lake. But something stood in the water. Tall shadows. Human-shaped. Watching. Lena stepped backward slowly. What is this? Then she saw her grandmother's desk.
A cassette recorder sat beside stacks of journals. One tape already loaded. A note rested on top. If you found this, they know you're here. Lena pressed play. Static crackled. Then Eleanor's voice filled the room. If you're hearing this, I'm probably dead. Lena's chest tightened instantly. I should have told you the truth years ago, Eleanor continued. The lake is not normal. People disappear here every 13 years. The town covers it up. They always have. Lena stared at the photos. Her breathing grew shallow. They live beneath the water, Eleanor whispered on the tape. And once they see your face, they never stop watching.
Static interrupted briefly. Then Eleanor spoke again, shakier this time. There are only 2 rules. Never go near the lake after midnight, and if someone knocks on the door asking for shelter... A loud bang interrupted the tape. Eleanor screamed. The recording distorted violently. Then her final words came through. Don't let them open the door downstairs. The tape ended. Silence. Lena backed away from the desk slowly. Then she heard dripping water behind her. Drip. 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 She turned. Wet footprints covered the floor leading toward the room. Fresh footprints. Huge ones. And they stopped directly behind her. Lena spun around, swinging the poker wildly. Nothing there. But the room temperature dropped instantly. A low creaking sound echoed overhead. Someone was walking around upstairs. Heavy footsteps. Not one person. Several. Then came knocking. 3 slow knocks at the front door above. Knock. 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 A man's voice called softly. Miss? Car trouble. Mind if we come in? Lena froze. The tape recorder suddenly turned back on by itself. Eleanor's voice whispered through static. Don't answer the door. Then another voice spoke from directly behind Lena in the darkness. Too close. Too deep. She already did. Lena spun around so fast she nearly fell. The room behind her was empty, but the air felt wrong. Heavy. Like someone invisible stood inches away, breathing against her neck. Upstairs, the knocking continued. Knock. 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 Then another voice joined the first. A woman this time. Please, we're freezing out here. Lena's pulse hammered violently. Every horror movie rule screamed inside her head. Do not open the door. Mabel hissed upstairs. Then came a horrible sound. The front doorknob slowly turning. Someone trying to enter. Lena grabbed the cassette recorder and ran from room 9. The hallway lights flickered wildly as she sprinted toward the basement stairs. Halfway there, she stopped cold. Water pooled across the concrete floor. Black lake water. It spread slowly toward her feet. Something moved beneath the surface. A hand. Long gray fingers reached upward before vanishing again. Nope. Lena bolted upstairs and slammed against the basement door until it burst open. She stumbled into the kitchen, gasping. The knocking stopped instantly. Silence swallowed the house. Too much silence. Lena looked toward the front entrance. The door stood slightly open now. Cold night air drifted inside. Oh, that's fantastic. She grabbed the poker again and approached carefully. No one outside. Only the forest. Dark trees swaying beside the lake. Then she saw them.
figure standing near the shoreline. Tall, still, watching the house. At least 6 of them. Their bodies looked human, except too thin, too stretched, and their eyes reflected white in the darkness. Lena slammed the door shut and locked it. Immediately.
Scratch. Something dragged across the outside wall. Then another scratch near the window. Mabel darted downstairs and hid under the table. Lena's breathing became shallow. What'd he want from me? A sudden memory hit her. When she was 8 years old, she woke up at this cabin during a thunderstorm. She remembered seeing her grandmother standing at the lake holding a lantern, and shapes moving beneath the water around her. Back then, Eleanor noticed Lena watching from the window. The fear in her grandmother's face had been real. Not fear for herself. Fear for Lena. Lena slowly looked toward the old bookshelf beside the fireplace. One book stuck out slightly. She pulled it. Click. A hidden compartment opened beneath the floorboards. Inside sat an old revolver, a stack of letters, and one final envelope with her name. Lena opened it quickly. Her grandmother's handwriting shook across the page.
Lena, the women in our family guard this house. Always have. The things in the lake are older than the town itself. They take people, but they cannot enter unless invited. 13 years ago, I made a deal to save your mother. Now they've come to collect what's owed. You were never supposed to return here. But if you're reading this, they already know your blood. Burn the house before sunrise. Do not let them reach the basement door. I'm sorry. Love. Grandma. A loud crash exploded upstairs. Footsteps thundered across the ceiling. Impossible footsteps. Too heavy. The windows began rattling violently. Then came dozens of whispers outside the walls, all repeating the same sentence. Let us in. Lena grabbed the lantern beside the fireplace. Her hands shook badly. The lake creatures circled the cabin outside like wolves. Another crash shook the house.
The basement door suddenly bulged outward. Something massive slammed against it from below. Boom. Again. Boom. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lena stared at the fireplace, then at the old gas line running beside it. Her grandmother knew this day would come. That's why she left the house to Lena. Not as an inheritance, as a warning. Tears filled Lena's eyes. This place really sucks, she whispered shakily. Mabel meowed in agreement. Lena laughed through her tears. Then the basement door cracked open slightly. Black water poured through the gap, and pale fingers slowly wrapped around the edge. Lena struck a match. The whispers outside became screaming. She looked once more at the lake through the window. Hundreds of white eyes stared back at her from the darkness beneath the water. Then Lena dropped the match.
If this story kept you hooked until the end, like and subscribe for more suspense stories. And tell me, would you have opened that basement door?